Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Vuitton Bond, and you're now listening to Say That with Vuitton Bond. I am your host. This is episode number 9, a story time today. This is the story of how I almost became a Soundcloud rapper. But before we get into it, first and foremost, this podcast is brought to you by www.VuittonBondMusic.com. Go to my site, sign up for the list, and get that Gold Bars EP, that mixtape. Also, this is brought to you by the listeners of Vuitton Bond. Special shout out to my man, Kaneko Point, man. Been leaving me a whole lot of comments and just showing love. I appreciate you, bro. You a real master of the universe. And you guys remember, if you want to go ahead and get a shout out, just comment on my shit, leave a review, any of that. So, episode 9 is story time. All right. Every so often I'll do one of these, and this is just something that was on my mind, man. We're gonna have a little fun with it. So, you know what this is? Say that. Real talk, no cap. Let's get into it. So, a couple years ago, this was back in 2016, I almost became a SoundCloud rapper. Now, what is a SoundCloud rapper exactly? When I think of the aesthetic of a stereotypical SoundCloud rapper, quote unquote, obviously the music is this distorted trap music, right? It's very distorted and just grungy sounding. Their photography is really weird and just, you know, it's not great. It's not polished, right? Nothing that they do is particularly polished. There's a lot of like anime stuff that they use, like Japanese letters and anime imagery. You know, they might title their shit with like all lowercase letters. It seems like a lot of their stuff is influenced by metal, Japanese anime, and just like shit posting in general. Of course, there's some with colored hair, and you know, there's a lot of facial tattoos. There's just a whole lot of like, you know, I don't give a fuck about life type shit, but it's pulled off in a way that makes them successful. Is really remarkable. So when I think of a SoundCloud rapper, that's what that is. I'm not that at all. I'm first off a lyricist. First and foremost, I'm a lyricist. Like, I really rap. I try to make sure all my shit is polished. Why? Because they say, well, the beginning of a successful career, you know, it starts with great songs. You want to make sure that your shit is on the level of somebody who's on the radio. These SoundCloud songs are not that. They're not radio ready. They're not radio quality. So that's not ever something I was into. But these are guys who were able to, you know, create niches for themselves, which is really, really dope. It's always good to see, you know, kids doing something creative, doing something positive, and you know, do it your own way. That's how I feel. Just don't try to bite off of somebody else. So this is how I almost became a SoundCloud rapper. I was putting music on SoundCloud like 2014, 2015, 2016, and you know, trying my damnedest to make something happen up there, and it was really tough for me. I never really got the traction that I wanted, and so that was kind of a platform I let go. I didn't match that type of aesthetic. Those are the guys that were blowing up at the time. I didn't really match that, but I was staying true to me and doing my own thing. So when I was at work, I was working at a grocery store in the frozen food section, and they had hired a kid to work with me back there. And, you know, good kid, you know, I was training him, we were talking, and he was telling me about how he put on a show that was really, really successful at the Lincoln Theater here in Raleigh. And he had brought a rapper by the name of Xavier Wulf to Raleigh. He's one of these SoundCloud rappers, quote unquote. Was able to, you know, build a huge fan base for himself. Guy makes dope music. So what he did was he brought Xavier Wulf to the city, you know, put on his show all by himself, made all kinds of crazy bread doing it. put on a great show for the kids. And I was blown away because this guy was, I want to say this guy at the time was like 18, 19. He was a teenager, making moves, doing his thing. And because we had that same love for music, we really clicked and connected. I let him know, like, yo, I'm a rapper. I do this shit too. And, we were working together multiple times a week. So I was able to, share my stuff with him. He shared his stuff with me. And we just clicked, man. Like, that was my guy. And I let him hear some stuff. He would tell me, like, oh, this is dope, but I feel like there's something missing here and this and that. It's always good to have somebody to kind of, like, bounce your ideas off of. Like, yo, I got this song. What do you think? Well, you could do this, you could do that. But now, at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, well, is there something missing, or are you trying to push me into becoming a SoundCloud rapper? But that's just some of the paranoia that we go through. Like, me in particular, I'm a perfectionist. So I want to make sure my shit is right, but I want to make sure my shit is me. So we used to talk about spirituality. We used to talk about a whole lot of stuff, and I wanted to work with him. I wanted to put on shows with him. I wanted to be a part of what he was doing because he was on the rise. He was on the way up. I mean, he had it. He had his own company, and he was shooting videos, and he was putting on shows, and the guy was phenomenal. So we got together. We put on a show. I gave him some bread as a deposit to kind of get some talent to come to the show. Some of these bigger names in the SoundCloud arena. So this was 2016 or 2017. I think it was 17, the summer of 17 that we put this on. Or it was summer 16. I'm getting my dates crossed. No. It was summer 16. I met the kid actually, at the end of 2015. Yeah, that's when I met him, at the end of 2015. And we did the show in the summer of 2016. Yeah, so because I had 919 Jesus out at the time. Y'all can go check that out on streaming. It's up. So we're gonna put on a show at the Lincoln Theater. It was Craig Zinn headlining. We had Lil Peep on the card. We had Tyler Grosso, who was, kind of like an influential cat, working with, I believe, ASAP Mob. I'm not sure. I don't remember per se. Somebody might correct me. Whatever. I don't care. And we had some other local talents on the thing. I was going to perform as well. Now, the thing is, during the show, Lil Peep didn't show up. Tyler Grosso didn't show up, even though, they got paid. Lil Peep, rest in peace. He didn't pop up. Craig Zinn popped up. They shut the show down and they moved the show outside because I think somebody had like weed or something like that. But at least Craig Zinn showed up. A lot of local guys showed up, and it seemed like a nice little show. But there was some money lost because people wanted their money back because certain people didn't show up. And of course, when you pay somebody to show up, they didn't show up, that's a fucking problem. I was just an investor. I didn't do any of the business stuff per se. Like I wasn't in contact with anybody. I was just kind of like a money guy, and I was gonna perform. I'm basically paid to perform. But there was like other artists out there too, people who painted, drawed, all this other stuff. So, and something crazy, man. I was sitting there. I wasn't sitting in the green room. I was sitting amongst the people, and there was a young lady who she started talking to me, and she said she was from Canada and she came to the show just to see Lil Peep. And the motherfucker didn't even show up. So I feel bad for her. I was gonna perform, but I didn't because my stomach was bothering me. And another thing is, I wasn't even on the fucking flyer, man. I wasn't even on the flyer. There was some other local cats who were on the flyer, but I didn't get to be on the flyer. And that's cool. That's all right. So, leading up to this event, my dog asked me, he was like, yo, you think you could color your hair for the night? And I'm like, no, I can't. I'm not putting any green or any yellow or orange in my hair, man. And he was like, even if, just for one night, you could wash it out. I'm like, no, that's not what I do. I asked him like, yo, I'm trying to wear my gold watch. What you think? And he was like, well, you try to be blinged out. You try to wear your gold, man. People are gonna think it's kind of poser-ish. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I think it would be more poserish if I colored my fucking hair. See, this group of people, man, they're more like they wear like Thrasher t-shirts. They're more on the skater side, And honestly, even though I put the money in this show, truth be told, these were not my people. I could tell these were really not my fans. Like, I'm not sure if these people would have been really into me, and especially, not that this matters too much, but it was just such a huge age gap. Like, all these kids, these were like high school kids, and they were simply into different stuff that I was into. I don't know if they wanted to hear somebody like rapping at them. I think they were more interested in moshing, which is cool. So for me, the lessons I learned from this situation, the show was a disaster. Show didn't work. My guy, he moved. He ended up quitting the job, and then he moved somewhere else. I've not talked to him since. I lost $250. Everything was a mess. But the lessons that I learned was, man, you got to be true to yourself. You got to be true to yourself. You got to know yourself. You got to know your fan base. You got to know, okay, these people may not rock with me, but these people will. You got to go find the people that are kind of going to be in alignment with your work. My goal is to use my rich creative talents to uplift, inspire, and entertain millions of people around the world. But if somebody doesn't align with my shit, I don't want them in my fan base. I don't want them a part of my audience. And something else that I learned was, don't be afraid to invest in yourself. I put $250 down because I believed in him, but also because I believed in me, and I felt like it was a good investment for me to go ahead and get that show in, man. And I could have made some money off of it. So, but it didn't work out like that. But in business, a lot of the time, it won't work out. You will lose money. Like, I'm spending marketing dollars right now, and I'm getting a lot of people in the door. A lot of people rock with what I do. That's good. That's a good business opportunity. But I've had plenty of marketing opportunities that just fell flat and didn't do anything. So that's what I learned, okay? You guys listening, y'all gotta be true to yourselves, man. Like, be who you are, unabashedly, unafraid. Just do you, man. Like, do what makes you happy, and find your people. It's just that simple. So that's my story time for today, guys. This is episode 9 of Say That with Vuitton Bond. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Share it if you're on YouTube. If you're on Apple, Google, Spotify podcasts, go ahead and leave a review for me. In either situation, I'll shout you out, man. So I'll see you guys next week. Say that.